but we'll pick up where we left off, and because of time, we will not try to review so much like we always do. We're talking about, we're in Tazkiya 3, so we're talking about the actual symptoms of those diseases that we talked about before, which are doubt and desire. So now we have the symptoms, and we are trying to remove these symptoms by showing that they are related to those diseases and elevate our character and improve our character, and in the end that is the goal, right? Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Indeed, I was only sent to perfect the manners of people. This is the goal of his messengership. The whole point of the Prophet coming to the world is to improve the character of the people, to make them true servants of God, and to treat each other as Allah would like them to. So the word innama in this hadith, tufidu at-takhassus ad-daqiq, which means in Arabic, innama means this is the specialty of Rasulullah. The specialty is to perfect your character. That's their point. So if you pray and you fast, but your character is poor, then you have not realized the whole point of his being sent by Allah. So may Allah perfect our character. And he used to make a nice dua. He used to say, Rasulullah used to say, Allahumma hassin khuluqi kama hassanta khalqi. Oh Allah, perfect my character as you have perfected my creation. Khuluqi khalqi. Khuluq, character. Khalq, creation. So we asked that from Allah. Now, one of the first things we talked about, which is a symptom, was ghiba, backbiting, talking, and there are many symptoms of the tongue, not diseases. People call them diseases of the tongue. They are not diseases. We showed that. If you are backbiting against your brother, let's pick, this is where we left off last time. What is the reason for backbiting against your brother or sister? And what is backbiting, first of all, because I see some new faces. Backbiting is not saying bad things about your brother behind his back. This is not what backbiting is. Backbiting is saying the truth about your brother or sister behind their back that they would not like. The truth that they would not like. Now you will see that most of what we say is backbiting. Because what else is there to say? SubhanAllah, right? You get your business done, and then you talk about everybody else. So, if you know that they would not mind, it is okay. Talk as much as you want. If you think that they might mind, then you cannot speak. There are exceptions. We will go over them today. So, what are some of the reasons why people backbite? Share with me. Jealousy. Okay? Is a Muslim, see how we're going to tie it to the disease now. Because I can tell you, don't backbite. But if you don't know why you backbite, you will not know what your problem is. It's like saying, someone has a fever. The fever is not the disease. Fever is a symptom or a sign for the problem. What is the problem? Let's find it. So I can give you Tylenol to bring your fever down, but it did not solve the problem. When you backbite, one of the reasons, you are jealous of that person. So, are you allowed to be jealous? Remember we talked about Tazkiya in Tazkiya 2 now. Why should you not be jealous? I want to get to the source of the problem. Why should you not be jealous? You have no right to be jealous. Tell me why. Because it goes against the qadr of Allah. The divine wisdom and destiny and ordainment of Allah. Allah decided to give you something and to give your Muslim brother or sister something. This is the wisdom of Allah, and He knows best. And what He gave you is good for you. And what He gave them is good for them. And a test for each of you. If you are jealous of your brother or sister, then you do not understand the qadr or the wisdom of Allah. In fact, you belie His wisdom. You say, Allah is not wise. It is not fair that He gave her or him and He did not give me. I want this. So you are saying what shaitan said exactly, but you don't know. You don't realize. I'm not saying that when we do this, we are a shaitan. That's not what I'm saying. But we are unconsciously expressing the disease in our heart of doubt. You are doubting that Allah controls you. He made you. He is wise. He is good. See, it's one thing to be wise, but Allah could be wise and out to get you. But He is not. Allah is wise and good and out for your best interest. So when I come and I am jealous of you, and I don't mean a fleeting thought of jealousy that comes where you catch yourself and you correct yourself and you say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Those fleeting thoughts of doubt, who do they come from? Shaitan. How do you know if something, a bad thought, is coming from you or coming from shaitan? We went over this Tazkiya 1. How do you know?
If you like it.
If you like it,
then it's coming from
and you revel in it, and you engage it, and you keep going with it, it's from you. It's from your own nafs. You are sick. If it's a thought that comes thrown in, and you don't like it, you dislike it, you say, oh man, why did I think that? I don't like to think like that. Then it is not from you, alhamdulillah. It is from shaitan, and he will not leave you alone until the day you die. He will try to throw doubts into your heart. But you will say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, and you will get it away. Is it possible to reach a level that shaitan will not be able to throw doubts into your heart? Is it possible to reach that level? It is. It is. Theoretically though. Meaning, if you are a messenger of Allah, prophet, shaitan has no way that he can try to approach you even. And those who are very close to Allah, who are not prophets, shaitan will have some ability to throw doubts, but it'll be very few and far between and very weak. Very weak. Like he will throw the doubt and you will recognize it as it is coming. And you will say, SubhanAllah, get out of here. A'udhu billah, a'udhu billah. And it's so easy, has no effect on you. This is the meaning of the hadith when Rasulullah says to Umar radiallahu anhu, Oh Umar, you are so strict on the religion that when shaitan sees you walking, he walks the other way. What is the meaning of that? It means, oh Umar, because of your strength in the deen, you are protected by Allah. Shaitan has no access to your heart. He may throw something from far away, but he is khannas. Khannas, min shar al-waswas, he throws whispers. Al-khannas, who runs away. So he throws the whisper, and then he runs away. What if you are a big sinner, far from Allah? Shaitan will stay close to you. By the permission of Allah, this is important to know. Does shaitan have any power in this world? Well, give me evidence. Why? Who has all the power? Okay, let's not review what we did. I don't want evidence. I'll just tell you. We know already. Shaitan has no power. He's not a big bad wolf. No one to be afraid of. Okay? Christians, they make a big deal out of shaitan. He is the Lord of this world. This is all nonsense. Shaitan has no power, no control. He cannot even move without the will of Allah. People have no power. Nobody has power except Allah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This is the meaning of this. We say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, especially the Arabs, they use it wrong. Right? The Arabs, they say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I can say because I am that. I'm from there. So they say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah when they are mad. Right? It's like La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So it's not the meaning of this. What is that? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah means no power or strength or movement or even ability except by Allah's will. Now, you have to understand this to understand the Quran. Allah says in the Quran, for example, He says, and the one, وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ, whoever turns away from the remembrance of Ar-Rahman, Allah. What does Allah say? Look, Allah is the one who is talking. Allah is very powerful. We do not give Allah His due when it comes to His power. He is in control of everything. Nothing is out of His control. Allah says, وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّدْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. Whoever goes away from my dhikr, my remembrance, goes away from me, turns away from me, right? And ya'shu means just a brief moment. I will let shaitan come to him. Who is speaking? Allah. I will allow shaitan to him. And look what it is, nuqayyid. We will tie shaitan to him. So who is the one allowing shaitan to get to you? Allah, if you allow it.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. The whole concept?
No,
or the ayah?
The ayah.
وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّضْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. So he will become his friend. So who is the one who allows shaitan to be your friend? The answer is you, really. That's the proper way and respectful way of saying it. It is you. You allowed shaitan to be your friend, but Allah is the one who controls everything. Meaning, if Allah didn't want shaitan to come next to you, He won't. And shaitan has no power over anyone except whom He wills. So if He says, you want to run away from me? Fine. Shaitan, go to him. Isn't this the wisdom behind when shaitan said to Allah, I will lead them astray? Didn't shaitan say that to Allah? Except your servants. Because I have no power over them. Right? He said, I have no power. You are the one who chooses who is your servant and who isn't. And whoever you do not choose as your servant, meaning you didn't choose to be Allah's servant, He will allow shaitan to come near you. This goes back to Tazkiya 1 and Qadr. Remember, you are the one who chooses good and chooses bad. Allah does not make you bad and Allah does not make you good. Allah simply looks in your heart, finds if it is good, and chooses you for good. So who made Musa? Who made Musa into a great messenger? Who? Allah. And who made Fir'aun into the most evil man on earth? Meaning, who fashioned him to become the ruler and the epitome of evil? Allah. Allah said in the Quran, وَاصْطَنَعْتُكَ لِنَفْسِي, O Musa, I fashioned you for good, for me. And He said in another part of the Quran, He said, and for every prophet I have made for him his enemy. Now, does that mean that Allah made Fir'aun bad? It's not fair then. That's what people will say. That's what the Christians had problems with for 1,000 years, more than 2,000 years. They have the idea of the problem of evil. I just came from Montclair State University where we were discussing this. In college, the philosophers will trick the people and tell them religion has a problem. And Judaism, Christianity, they tried to make up answers for this. But subhanAllah, Islam has a very clear answer. They tried to say, if you have free will, then there cannot be predestination or divine decree. Otherwise, Allah made you good or made you bad. So there's a problem. Either you are free or you are not free. But you all know the answer now, alhamdulillah. Islam, you are free to choose in here, but you have no power out here. In the realm of action, Allah is in control of everything. Inside your heart, you are free to will. That is why, what is the greatest hadith in the whole of the Sunnah? إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ جَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. You guys are paying attention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. The greatest hadith in the whole of the Sunnah is, and by this is like the overwhelming majority of scholars have looked into the Sunnah and said this is the greatest hadith. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. And even some of the companions, they said, here are the 4 greatest hadith in the Sunnah. All of them said this one. All actions are judged by intention. Why? Because your action is from Allah, but your intention is from you. Now, could Allah make your intention, just to show you the completeness of Allah's power, could He have control over your intention as well? If He wanted. The angels have no free will. They cannot intend something. They can only do what Allah said. That's what Allah means in the end of the book of Quran. He says, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. And just in case you think that even your will is free, I have only allowed your will to be free by my will. Meaning you do have free will. But in case you think that that's something that's like you are special because of that, Allah is saying, this little piece of freedom that you have, free will, even this, I am controlling, allowing you to be free. You cannot have free will except that I allowed you to have free will. So the comprehensiveness of Allah's power is complete. He controls everything and owns everything. Nothing is out of control. And this is the meaning of what ayah? What is the meaning? Which ayah? The greatest ayah in the Quran, in the whole of the Quran? Alhamdulillah. This is the meaning of Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah means all praise is due to Allah because Allah owns everything. Everything. You cannot be Muslim for real, or mu'min I should say, mu'min with iman, unless you believe in the complete and utter control and power of Allah. Nothing can move in this universe, blink, even think, without the power of Allah. So much so that Allah wanted to, I want to say this correctly, give a little shock to the companions. In Surah Al-Baqarah, third to last ayah, or fourth to last ayah, He says, لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. You all know the ayah. وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله. And if you reveal what is inside you or you hide it, Allah will judge you and He will punish you for any bad thoughts you have. So then the companions got scared from this. So they came to Rasulullah and said, "Oh Rasulullah, sometimes we have bad thoughts. I mean, sometimes a bad thought just comes. We don't want to be judged like that. It's very hard. No man can be free of these bad thoughts sometimes." So Rasulullah, true messenger of Allah, true slave of Allah, he said to them, "I have no comment. That's what Allah said. So try your best." You see how comprehensive Allah's power is and control and knowledge of you? Deep. He knows the deep inside of you. The next ayah, and Allah often does this to train His servants. After وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, the next ayah is what? آمَنَ الرَّسُولُ. The Prophet believed in Allah. Right? He said, "I believe." That's what Allah said. آمَنَ الرَّسُولُ. آمَنَ, what is it? Huh? Say the ayah to me, please. I lose my track sometimes. آمَنَ الرَّسُولُ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْهِ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. So you are mu'min. That means you say, "I believe what Allah sent down." It might be hard. I might not understand it, but I believe. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا, and they said, سمعنا, we hear, وأطعنا, and we obey. غفرانك, forgive us Allah for our shortcomings. غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. The next ayah is the beautiful ayah that we all love and know. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah will not hold against you that which you cannot control, what you cannot handle. So if the bad thoughts are coming, you cannot stop that because you are weak. Your iman is low. Allah will not judge you based on that. And this is the beauty of the relative judgment of Allah. The relative judgment of Allah. Meaning, the crack baby born to a prostitute mother in the ghetto who has not seen a good thing in her life. Her father does not even exist and she was raped by her uncle. Okay? This person is not judged by Allah the same as the one who was born with a nice family. Mother, father taught her to pray, taught her to fast, taught her Quran, taught her the truth. Allah will judge this person very differently than this person. From you, the one who was given all the niceties of this life, he will expect a lot. And the one who is not given much in this life, who is the one who gave this one a difficult life and gave this one an easy life? Who? Allah. So He is the one who will judge. Don't worry. This prostitute daughter, the daughter of the prostitute who maybe herself became a prostitute, she gave water to a dog and she went to Jannah. That's the only good deed she did in her whole life. And on the other side, we have someone born into luxury and knows everything, knows the truth, has access to information and knowledge. And they don't pray. Or their prayer is off. I know it's scary to say this, even scary for me to even mention this, but the more you have and the more you know, the more Allah expects from you. You may be in Jahannam and the prostitute may be in Jannah. You don't know. That is why you can never judge your Muslim brother or sister, meaning you cannot say, "I am better than you." This goes back to a symptom. Remember, not disease. People say arrogance is a disease. Is arrogance a disease? This is Tazkiya 3 now. We're talking about the symptoms now. Why is arrogance a symptom and not a disease? What is it a symptom of? Same thing, the same idea. Huh? The symptom of a disease called doubt. The doubt in the qadr of Allah. Okay? Think about it. Allah made you have a luxurious life. And He made someone have a different kind of life. You think you are better than them. Do you have a right to be better? Do you have a right to think this thought? How do you know how Allah will judge you? How do you know? How do you know how Allah will judge them? Maybe in the eyes of Allah and you are not Allah. Astaghfirullah. Maybe in the eyes of Allah, your brother is better than you. Your sister is better than you. You don't know. Maybe in the eyes of Allah, your Christian neighbor is better than you. Maybe they will become better than you. Meaning, maybe when you are on your deathbed, you will say the word of kufr and die kafir. You don't know. Maybe on their deathbed, they will say the word of iman and die mu'min. Right? So in the end, who is your relationship with? In the end. I know this sounds very cut and dry because it is. In the end, who is your relationship with in this world? Allah. You don't have to worry about anybody. You worry about you and Allah. That's what you fix, this relationship. And by the way, this is not a selfish thing. If you are focused on Allah, will you be good to the people or will you be bad to the people? Good. You will be excellent. It is when you are focused on the people that you are bad to them. Because you begin to judge them. And you begin to say, you don't deserve this and I deserve this. I am better than you. You are a bum. You're not worthy. You don't deserve my help. Get away from me. But when your relationship is with Allah, look how humble you are. Your nose is in the dirt, right? Because you are saying, oh Allah, yes, I am praying and He is not praying. But you know what? You taught me to pray, right? So now you expect more from me than Him. My mother and father told me how to pray since I was a kid. Therefore, if I miss one prayer and He misses 1,000 prayers, I may go to Jahannam and He may go to Jannah. You don't know. So you're always uneasy with Allah. Is this a good thing to be uneasy with Allah? When I say uneasy, I mean you don't know necessarily where you stand. Is that a good thing? It is. When you are not sure of your position with Allah, that means you are humble. That means you are not a hypocrite. That means you are constantly reevaluating yourself. But when you are sure of your position with Allah, I am good. I am good. I'm not meaning don't be optimistic. You will be in Jannah, inshallah, based on the Prophet said. But don't be. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he said it most famously when he said, I swear, if my right foot is in Jannah and my left foot is still outside of Jannah, la amanu makr Allah. I will not be sure that Allah will not kick me out. Now, once his left foot is in, he is sure Allah will not kick him out. You know why? Because Allah said, once you're in, you don't get out. But why is Abu Bakr saying that? He's saying, I'm not arrogant. That's what he's saying. I do not begin to assume, to think that I know what Allah wants to do or or where I stand. Right? Even though Abu Bakr is Abu Bakr. Now today, the sign of hypocrisy, which is a symptom, not a disease, is that you are sure of yourself. I am good. I'm fine. I am doing good and all of these people are bad. This is not the sign of someone who has made Tazkiya, someone who is close to Allah. So I think we talked about a lot of symptoms. We were on topic. We talked about arrogance. We talked about, what was one before arrogance? Huh?
Jealous.
No, backbiting we're going to do now. Right. Jealousy, right? You're not allowed to be jealous. You're not allowed to be arrogant. You cannot. So, if you say, don't be arrogant, that's not going to teach you anything. Because the arrogance is deep-seated. It's a disease. You doubt that Allah is the one who gave you. What is the meaning of this ayah in the Quran? By the way, it took me 2 decades to understand this one phrase. But alhamdulillah, Allah has taught it to me and I want to teach it to you. What is the meaning of nusabbihu bihamdik? Nusabbihu bihamdik. The angels say to Allah, nusabbihu bihamdik. Amazing phrase, but little do we understand it. We glorify your hamd. What does hamd mean? We learned it. That's why if you don't know alhamdulillah, then you miss so much. What is the meaning of alhamdulillah? Yeah, praise, but why? Everything belongs to Allah. So the angels say, nusabbihu, we glorify you, right? Tasbih, subhanallah, bihamdik. With your hamd. With the fact that you own everything. What does that mean, that phrase? That means, if I do something good, who deserves that thanks? Allah. So if I do good, should I feel that I am good? Or should I automatically say, go back to the qadr of Allah. The fact that Allah allowed me to do good means I should thank Him. He could have stopped me from doing good. So if you pray Qiyamul Layl, you pray the night prayer, should you say, wow, I have reached a high level, I pray the night prayer? What should you say? I know this is really going to hurt your heart. You know why? Because it just blows everything that you ever thought about yourself out of the water. You pray the night prayer, right? That means tomorrow night's prayer should be better than the previous nights because you have to thank Allah for letting you pray the night before. So then it never ends. You see? Now it's like mind-blowing. The third night of night prayer should be better than the ones before it. You know why? You have to thank Allah that He let you pray 2 nights of prayer. So how humble is the mu'min? How humble There's no end to his humility. Because no matter what he does, he is indebted further. You see that? The more good you do, the more you are in debt to Allah for allowing you to do that good. So how can you win? How can you ever pay back Allah? Tell me, how? You cannot. You cannot. So one day, the famous story, the companion came in to saw Rasulullah. He is praying the night prayer. His whole body is drenched in tears, beard, and there's a puddle of tears on his feet, meaning on the floor, in the sand. And he has cracked ankles and blood coming out of the cracked ankles from standing so much. The companion took one look at this and he said, "Oh Rasulullah, we are the ones who should be doing this, but you have no sin." Meaning Allah has forgiven your sin, previous and coming. So Rasulullah said his famous statement, and this is the meaning of نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ. He said, أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا. So if Allah has forgiven all of my sins, should I not thank Him for that? Subhanallah. Thank Him so much that my ankles will crack and bleed. He has given me everything, so I have to give Him everything. Right? So, yarhamukallah. And this reminds me of another story from the life of the companions. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he had a slave girl. And slavery is a different topic. We can talk about that later. Islam came to eradicate slavery, but it did it gradually, like it did with alcohol, like it did with mut'ah, which is the zina outside of marriage. Islam had to gradually remove certain vices from society. Anyway, we do not shy away from our religion. We just have to understand it so we can explain it and not be embarrassed of it. If we are embarrassed of it, we don't understand it. That's what it means. So, Ibn Abbas had a slave girl. So she brought him a flower, a gift. So he freed her. He said, "You are free. You are not a slave anymore." Which, by the way, Rasulullah encouraged. That was what he encouraged the Muslims to free the slaves, not to make slaves. So another tabi'i, someone who comes after the companions, came and saw him do this. So he said to him, radiallahu anhu, "She gave you a flower and you gave her freedom." Not equivalent. Not equivalent. Right? Is a flower equal to your freedom? I mean, that's a big deal. So he said to her, look at this beautiful statement that this companion says. He said, "She gave me what she could, so I gave her what I could." You see? This is shukr in a nutshell. She gave what she could. That's what she can do. And I gave what I could. Now, Allah gives you what He can give you, which is no end. So you give what you can give. This is the way shukr is supposed to be. You will never be able to pay Allah back. You will never be able to pay Him back, even for the vision that you have. One thing. But at least you should try. You should give everything that you can. And Allah does not expect you to pay Him back. But He expects you to show Him gratitude. Because in showing Him gratitude, you realize the truth. That you are nothing and you own nothing. And everything belongs to Allah. And subhanallah, if you make this leap to humility, that I have nothing and I own nothing, Allah makes something out of you. He will raise your level when you put yourself down. He will raise you up. He will make the people love you, and He will give you Jannah, and you don't deserve it. Subhanallah. So, yes.
I had a question. I think a couple weeks ago when we had class, you went over, I think, when you're doing an action,
Yeah.
and sometimes like something comes inside,
Yes.
like a little, I guess, pride, arrogance, whatever it is,
Yes.
and then you said that Shaitan will tell you to like not do it. So
Yes.
I was saying, how do you eradicate doing that? Like, how do you eradicate that feeling?
By continuing to make dua to Allah to help you eradicate the feeling. It's not a feeling, by the way. It's something that happens to you. What he's describing, and I don't want to go off topic too much, is riya. Riya is the shirk, small shirk, where you do something not for Allah fully, but for the people. If you are very close to Allah, majority of your actions will be 100% for Allah. And the majority of your actions will be 100% for Allah. Two things. One, the majority of your actions that you do, the volume, will be for Allah. And number two, each individual action, 100% for Allah. You see, there's two different considerations. Most of what we do so many good deeds, alhamdulillah. Very few of them are 100% for Allah. So the brother is asking, what if I do a good deed and I did it for Allah? I swear it is for Allah. You don't have to swear. It's in here, right? Allah knows. And then, at the last moment, someone saw me doing it and I enjoyed that they saw me. So then that means it went from 100% for Allah to what?
Zero.
Not zero. Well, zero in reward. But you did it 99% for Allah, 1% for this person. That might seem not fair now, but the truth is Allah will not accept that action from you. Because He is aghna al-aghniya. He is the richest of the rich. He doesn't need you. So you don't give Him 100% for Him. He won't take it. 99.9, He won't take it. By the way, this is the correct opinion. You will hear other opinions, but this is the correct opinion. Now here's the good news. The good news is that feeling that you described. If you say, SubhanAllah, I did this for Allah, and then my nafs, my sick nafs, did part of it for someone. So you recognize this. By the way, this is tazkiyah. This is what you're describing is good. That's a good feeling. You say, I should not have done that. I should not have felt that. Allah only deserves the praise, not for the people. Oh Allah, forgive me for that. Correct me next time. Help me make my action 100% for you. So Allah does not accept the action, but what does He give you reward for? For the jihad, the struggle. That's not an easy struggle to do. To have ikhlas is not easy. Allah rewards you for this. This is called nafs al-lawwama in the Quran. If you reach Allah as nafs lawwama or nafs mutma'inna, you are in Jannah. Inshallah. Nafs al-lawwama means you do things and you do things wrong and you say, I wish I did them right. I should do them right. And you beat yourself up about them. By the way, this is tazkiyah. What you are describing is tazkiyah. You are purifying yourself. Do you think anyone is born and they do everything for Allah? It's impossible. They have to go through riyat first. Meaning, you have to go through doing for others. And then you recognize how bad that is. Because they don't deserve it. Only Allah deserves it. So when you so many people don't even recognize it. So if you recognize the symptom, then you have taken the first step. If you recognize the disease that caused that symptom, which is the doubt in Allah, that He controls everything, right? Or the desire to see the appreciation of people, greed, dunya. If you recognize that, you work on that. Who is the only one who will purify your heart for you? Allah. No sheikh will purify your heart for you. No person, scholar can teach you. Only Allah will do it for you. But He has to see what in your heart? He has to see what?
Ikhlas.
Well, ikhlas is what you're searching for. You want to get full ikhlas, Allah will give it to you. But what does He have to see in your heart? The intention. You have that intention, which clearly you do. Say, oh Allah, I want to do my actions 100% for you. Do not let me die until I can do 100% for you. Do you think He will let that happen or not? What do you think? Of course, He will do it for you because you asked and that's what He wants from you. So I don't want to go off topic too much, but yes. So you are rewarded for that struggle. And one of the greatest tabi'een, in fact, some scholars say he is the greatest tabi'i. I forgot his name right now. Someone can remind me of his. Anyway, he said, the biggest sickness I had to cure was this, what you're describing. He said it took me many years to cure it. To cure this desire to impress people. So if the great tabi'een have to struggle, then of course we will struggle. Right? Now the companions, alhamdulillah, all of them, they were able to achieve ikhlas. Meaning they were taught by Rasulullah to do only for the sake of Allah. And the tabi'een, of course, they're not as good as the companions, but they struggled also. That is why most of the stories about riya come from the narrations of the tabi'een. Because they are now in the period where Islam is dominant and strong, right? And having knowledge makes you powerful. Having a hadith makes you special. So riya became a big thing, right? In our days, it's not as big as the tabi'een because nowadays being Muslim is not so popular, right? However, it still exists in Muslim circles. Everybody wants everyone to think that they are knowledgeable and they are a good Muslim. Don't do that for anyone but for Allah. And shaitan will trick you, like you said. Because shaitan is more knowledgeable than any scholar who has ever lived. I'm just telling you right now. He is very knowledgeable. In fact, shaitan is a scholar. He knows you very well. If you are having nafs al-lawwama, and you're saying, man, I'm doing these things to impress this person, shaitan will come to you and say to you, I see that you are a mu'min. You are very good. You are nafs al-lawwama. You are fighting to make tazkiya. I see that. You know what? Allah deserves better than this. Don't do this action at all, which is a good thing. Go and work on your tazkiya. And when you are 100% ikhlas, come back and do it. So, is this a trick or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Because let's say you are giving sadaqah. And your sadaqah is 99% for Allah, 1% for the people. Should you stop giving the sadaqah? Or should you work on your intention? That's the right thing to do. Keep giving the sadaqah. Spit in the eye of shaitan. And say to him, no, I will not stop. I will keep doing the good deed. And I will ask Allah to perfect my good deed. That's the right way to do it. Okay? So the scholars say, for example, two scenarios they paint. This is what the scholars discuss. They have fleshed these situations out for us. You are praying, and you're praying alone. If you are praying alone, who are you praying for? Allah. No one's around. You're praying for Allah. Guaranteed. Although there is some caveats, but I don't want to go into detail. Some scholars say that if you are praying, and in your mind you are thinking about how you are praying in front of the people, right? And your prayer improves because of your thoughts that you're imagining and you're in front of the people, then this is shirk, right? But anyway, let's not get too complicated. If you are praying by yourself, it is for Allah. And let's say you are praying out loud. So you're reciting beautiful Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It's for Allah. No one's around. Now someone enters the room. Okay? This is the training that you must do. What should you do?
Stop reading loud.
Okay, good answer, not correct, but good answer. So brother said, stop reading out loud. Why? So that you don't do it for the person. Right? Any other answer?
Check intention.
Okay, check your intention. Good, that's a good answer. I can't argue with that. That's correct, yes. But I'm talking about the action. What should you do now? You're praying and you're having a melodious voice. Yes.
Recite the same way you were doing when no one was around.
That's correct. So the shaitan will trick you in two ways. He will say, stop reciting nicely. And the other thing he will say, improve your recitation. Of course, this is the more common, right? You are reciting and then someone comes in, and you stand up better, and your posture improves, and your back is straight, and your eyes go down, right? Before you were doing this. Now you're like this. So then you change your prayer. Your prayer, a portion of your prayer went to that person. By the way, that's not the part that's tricky. That one, anyone can figure that trick out. The trick is what you mentioned. When shaitan comes to you and says, no, lower your voice. Ikhlas, lower your voice. Now, look at the trick. You lowered your voice for Allah or for the person? So, he made you fall into the trap of riyah through a more clever way. So you changed your action that was good for Allah because someone saw you. And that's not how you should be. The right way to do it, and it's not easy. By the way, if you test yourself, you will see that your heart moves. You actually feel your heart, the flesh, moving this way or that way, changing its direction towards Allah or towards the person. I know you might find that strange, but I'm telling you, this is what happens. The spiritual heart and the flesh heart, they are together. Somehow, I don't know. Okay? Because Rasulullah said there is a morsel of flesh in your heart, in your body. إِذَا صَلُحَتْ صَلُحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. If it has become sound, your whole body will become sound. So some scholars came and said, he's referring to the spiritual heart. But why would he say piece of flesh? Why would he say that? Because there is some kind of connection between the spiritual heart and the flesh heart. There is. Okay? And I don't want to go into something called neurocardiology, which is amazing. We have cardiologists here. I don't want to speak out of place. But there are studies that show that the heart holds memories and has neurons. And when people have heart transplants, they gain the memories of those that they got transplanted from. Subhanallah. Right? Things that are amazing. You can go and Google neurocardiology. Anyway, let's not go off that and stay spiritual. But the point is, the heart, it moves. تتقلب. It's called qalb. It turns. Right? That's why we say to Allah, Allahumma thabbit ثبت قلبي. Oh Allah, make my heart steadfast on you. Don't let it turn. Don't let it turn. So, the answer is, if you are praying melodiously, and someone happens to enter, you did not plan it that way, intentions, right? You should continue. You may pause to correct your intention. That would be a good answer. Like you became surprised that someone came in. So you pause, you fight shaitan, and then you continue. That's part of the fighting. Part of the fighting is continuing. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when you give sadaqah, a portion of your sadaqah has to be public. Subhanallah. Didn't you read in the Quran, Allah said, Sirran wa alaniya. Sirran wa alaniya. Give your sadaqah, mostly in secret, but you also have to give some portion in public. So when Abu Bakr came and he gave all of his money to Rasulullah, you know the famous story, right? No, every child knows the story. Do you think Abu Bakr gave all of his money only one time? What do you think? This is what he did in public. So what do you think he did in private? Subhanallah. Right? So why did Allah say you have to give in public too, not just private? Why? Why do you think? Tell me. Why?
To motivate somebody else.
Well, to motivate others, that's the practical purpose. But why for you? To test yourself. Tazkiya. Okay? To sit there and see. Right? Yeah. In private, alhamdulillah for Allah. But in public, I changed. My heart changed. In Ramadan, the Sheikh asks, who's going to give in the fundraiser? Right? We all love the fundraisers in Ramadan. Right? So, you raise your hand. So shaitan will get you in two ways. One, the easy way. You raise your hand and you say, yeah. He's looking. Make sure he's looking. He's looking. Yeah. 5,000. You heard? 5,000. That's the easy way. Alhamdulillah, we don't do that, inshallah. Okay? The trickier way is your intention. I want to give 5,000. No, but I don't want to show off in front of the people. Forget it. I'm not going to give. Shaitan got you. By the way, he will keep working on you. You will say, no, tomorrow I'll give it in secret. I'll give it in secret tomorrow. I'll give it to some orphans or something. What will happen tomorrow? Shaitan will make you forget. Shaitan will work on you until you don't do it. And he wins. And you lose. That's what Allah means when He says in Surah Al-Baqarah, الشَّيْطَانُ يَعِدُكُمُ الْفَقْرَ وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالسُّوءِ. Shaitan promises you poverty. He's promising you poverty and Allah is promising you wealth. You give, Allah gives you more. You hold, what? You lose. Right? You become poorer, but you don't know. This is part of the doubt and the sickness of that. Anyway, we didn't lose track of anything in case someone thinks we went off tangent. We talked about arrogance. We talked about jealousy. All of these are symptoms of a bigger disease. Okay? We talked a little bit about riyah, even though it's a little bit off topic. Okay? But let's finish backbiting quickly, because I promised that. So, when you are backbiting, you are jealous, or you have hatred in yourself towards someone. Are you allowed to hate your Muslim brother or sister? You cannot. You are not allowed. Okay? And we can see if you hate them, the reason you hate them is clearly your doubt that Allah is the one who sent them to bother you, or sent them with whatever they have. For example, you cannot hate anybody. Your relationship is with Allah. Arrogance. We talked about one of the reasons for backbiting is arrogance. You think you are better than them. The most common by far, and this is unfortunate, is the envy and this one, low self-esteem. If you are backbiting, then you are worried that this person thinks better of that person than you. So you try to bring that person down a little bit to make yourself feel better. This is unfortunately one of the more common reasons for backbiting. Identify it in yourself and know it in yourself. You have no right to bring down your brother because you don't feel good about yourself. If you don't feel good about yourself, this itself is a symptom. How can a Muslim have low self-esteem when Allah is the one who created you and fashioned you and made you Bani Adam? You are as good and as great as Allah wants you to be with taqwa. You might be someone who does not have a high social class in this life. But if you are having taqwa and close to Allah, then you should have high self-esteem. You are honored that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen you for this. In any event, even if you have low self-esteem, do not put others down. And the final reason why someone may backbite against others is approval. Approval from others. You want desire to be liked by other people. So You give them juicy gossip and you put other people down so that they can like you more. And all of these things, like we said, are symptoms of a greater illness.
You backbite because people have hurt you, and you do it.
Revenge. Good. So is revenge allowed in Islam? Good. That's very good. I have to write that in so I don't forget next time, inshallah. Revenge.
And I have one quick question on this note.
Sure.
That some people
Yeah.
come to you for advice.
Yeah.
Let's say if asking.
So this is the next thing. We will go over the exceptions of backbiting.
Okay.
Yes. Revenge. Good one. Is revenge allowed in Islam?
Yes.
Good. How? You can't just say yes, open-ended. So you punch me once, I can kill you? That's revenge, right? If you punch me once, what am I allowed to do technically? If I must. Huh? Punch once. Can I punch a little bit harder than how you punched? Can I, what if you're like 2 inches shorter than me and a little 10 pounds lighter than me? Will my punch be a little bit stronger than yours or weaker? Potentially stronger, right? Because I'm bigger.
But it depends on the laws of the country, right? Here, if you punch back, you will be in jail also.
I understand. I am just, right now we are talking theoretical. I'm not encouraging to punch back. In fact, I will show you that Islamically you should not, right? But I am saying that Islam did allow a baseline, okay? Revenge by human against human is allowed. If you can be certain that your revenge, by the way, I'm building a picture for you, clear. You're going to see from what I'm telling you, it's almost impossible to get revenge equal to what was given to you. The human nature and desire is to overdo what has been done to you. Or to avenge in a way that is not the same. So backbiting is almost never going to be the proper revenge for what someone did to you because it's different, right? It has to be the same. It has to be similar. Not similar, it has to be exactly the same. Otherwise you go from being oppressed to the oppressor. So if I punch you with, I don't know, 10 psi, I don't even know if that's real or not. 10 pounds per square inch, okay? You have physicists here and people, mathematicians, right? If I punch you with 10.5 psi, here's the thing. Number one, Allah will not avenge for you. Number one, you sought your own revenge, Allah will not seek revenge for you. One of Allah's names is the Avenger. Isn't that a beautiful thing? He will get the revenge for you if you trust in Him and wait. Be patient. He will get the best poetic justice you could ever imagine. And you will see it if you only trust. But if you don't trust Him, and you are hasty, and your iman is low, you will seek your own revenge. So you will automatically lose Allah's help. Number one, it's allowed, but you lost Allah's help. Number two, if you did 10.5 psi instead of 10, now you will be punished by Allah. Because you are now the oppressor. How much will you be punished? By the extent that you overdid your oppression. Allah is so fair that on the Day of Judgment, He will take revenge from the horned goat who hit the unhorned goat. What is we went over this before. What is the purpose of this scene? Both animals have no sin. Right? They will turn to dust. Animals don't have judgment. But they do. They have judgment. You know why Allah holds judgment for the animals? For you and me. To say, because when you see that the horned goat gets punished for hitting the unhorned goat, right? By the way, the horned goat had every right to hit the unhorned goat. But the fact that he has horns made him the oppressor. You see what I'm saying? He was heavy-handed. The unhorned goat hurt the horned goat. So the horned goat hit him with his horns. But the unhorned goat does not have horns. Therefore, Allah punished the horned goat and then turned them to dust. To show you that you will be... This is how much judgment there will be. Subhanallah. So if someone curses you and you curse their mother, Subhanallah, you are in big trouble. Right? He hurt you. What if someone hurts you? And you don't do anything and you are patient? Like Ibadur Rahman. Surah Al-Furqan, right? وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. They walk modestly on the earth. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ. And when the ignorant people say bad things to them, what do they say? Salama. Salama, very good. Right? You say salama. You say, peaceful things, right? One day, Hassan al-Basri, he's one of the great tabi'een also. A man was backbiting him, right? So he went to visit him and he gave him a plate of dates as a gift. So the man said, he was shocked, the man, because he knows that Hassan al-Basri knows that he doesn't like him, and he knows that he speaks bad about him. So he said, you know when someone is bad and they get surprised, like they look guilty, right? Like, why are you giving me this plate of dates, right? He said, because you gave me all of your good deeds, so I want to give you a gift for that. Thank you. I wanted to thank you. You see, the mu'min knows that on the day of judgment, if someone hurts me and I don't get revenge, 1, Allah will get revenge for you in the dunya. 2, you will get His good deeds on the day of judgment. And your bad deeds will be shed. You know the hadith. We all know this, right? But our desires, right? For greed and lust and revenge, it's a desire. So where does revenge come from? Desire mostly, because it's mostly an emotional response, right? But also doubt. Doubt that Allah will get the revenge. Doubt that Allah will make it right, right? But mostly it's desire. Everything, by the way, the diseases are together. The diseases are overlapping. They are not separate. So every doubt and desire, they go together. They feed each other, as we mentioned. So your desire for revenge. Does revenge feel good? Huh? Yes. Don't try to hide, okay? We're all made from the dirt of this earth. We're all the children of Adam. Does revenge taste sweet, as they say? Oh, sweet revenge, as they say, right? Revenge is one of those wonderful desires. It's not good, but it's one of those very satiating desires, like zina, like doing anything haram. It's something that is a desire, satisfying. You want to do it to fulfill some animalistic lust or something in you, but you shouldn't do it. You should resist this sensation. The mu'min does not seek revenge for himself. Now, what is the evidence that revenge, you brought up a good topic, thank you, is allowed? The hadith of Rasulullah. And this is a beautiful story. One day, he was preparing the people to fight in battle. So he was using a stick. And he was pushing the people to be straight in the line. Because Allah said in the Quran, He loves those who, when they fight for the sake of Allah, appropriately, that they fight saffan, in a straight line, like the prayer, right? So if you think that Rasulullah was not strict in the straightness of the lines of the prayer, he was. He would go like this and push you with his stick if you are not straight in the line. One of the companions, he was not wealthy, he had no shirt. So he was just like that, poor. His shirt was torn, he had no shirt. He had nothing to cover his upper body. So Rasulullah struck him with the stick on his belly to put him in line. So when everyone was ready, he said, "Oh Rasulullah," this is one of the companions, to show you the beauty of a messenger, his character. He said, "Oh Rasulullah," he said, "Yes." He said, "You struck me and I want my revenge." The companions wanted to get out of line and choke him, right? "You want revenge from Rasulullah? Are you crazy? Are you being foolish? He didn't strike you. He's just pushing you in line. He didn't hurt you," right? He says, "No, Allah gave me the right. I have the right. I have the right. You hit me, I want to hit you." Now, where's the evidence that you have to be equal? That's why Allah said, "Fine. Here is the stick. You must strike me the way I struck you. Exactly. Do not go more than this." So he gave him the stick. By the way, would any king allow a subject to do something like this? It gets. Look at the humility of Rasulullah and compare that, unfortunately, I'm sad to say, even to some of our imams today, right? They do not act like this because you are serving the people for Allah's sake. And look how Rasulullah, who was much better than you, look how he was. Do you think Rasulullah does not know that this is a foolish request? It is, but it is his right. Did he say, "Who do you think you are? I am Rasulullah," right? He didn't say that. He said, "Take the stick. Look what the man does." He said, "Rasulullah, you struck me on my skin and you are wearing something on your, please remove your shirt so I can strike you on your skin like you struck me on my skin." The skin hit is worse than a hit over clothing. So now the companions had another uproar. "Are you crazy? You're telling Rasulullah to take his shirt off?" Right? He said, "Hold on. He has a point." So he lifted his shirt. By the way, do you think the companion really wants to hit Rasulullah? What do you think? Do you think the story will end well? It will end well, don't worry. Right? So yes.
This is happening while they're about to start the prayer?
Yes. No, start the battle. Start the war. Imagine. Not prayer. I mean, if someone did this today in the prayer, I mean, they would kick him out of the masjid, right? This is before the war. I mean, people are worried about battle. So he said he goes down on his knees and he kisses the stomach of Rasulullah. And he says, "Oh Rasulullah, I wanted the last thing I touch before I die is your skin against my skin." Subhanallah. So we learn a lot from this hadith. Obviously, it's not about that. The point that we're trying to make here, that's a nice story, and we learn many lessons, but revenge is allowed. It has to be exactly the same way. Be careful. It's better not to do revenge, right? And to not be oppressive. So, the Muslim should not seek to avenge anything. You had a question about this before? Quickly, I want to finish up the backbiting. The backbiting. There are 6 exceptions to backbiting. Number 1, oppression. If someone is oppressing you, what is the meaning of oppression? They are taking what belongs to you away from you. And there are many tangible and intangible forms of oppression. So, you are allowed to complain to someone who can help you. You heard me? Only someone who can help you. Can you just vent? As they say, I want to vent. Right? To the whole world, I want to vent. No. You are allowed to mention the person's name and what he is doing to you or she is doing to you to someone you believe in your best knowledge. He may or may not be able to help you, but in your best knowledge, you believe they may be able to help you. That's an exception. Is it still backbiting? Yes. I want to teach you this very important concept. Do not change the words of something. Do not change the meaning, because a lie is a lie and backbiting is backbiting. Rasulullah said there are 3 exceptions to lying, but they're still lying. It's still lying, but there are exceptions. Maybe I don't have time to explain why that's very important. You cannot change something in the religion of Allah. A lie is a lie. There's no white lie and black lie. It is a lie, but He made exception for this. It is backbiting, but there's an exception. The reason why that's important is because you'll be very careful when you still call it that. Okay? Student loan. I don't want to open a big Pandora's box, but student loan. Is it interest or not interest? It is riba. It is interest. Call it by its name. Then, if you say, I must take it because it's darura. Darura means I have no choice, right? Fine, but call it riba. You might say, what's the difference? Either way you took it, right? There's a difference. Because when you are under riba, you will try to get out of it as quickly as possible. But when you are calling it, oh, it's halal, student loan. You know, student loan sounds nice, right? It's riba. It's interest. Call it what it is. Get out of it quickly. If you are using this dispensation of darura. Darura means I have no choice. Darura means I cannot be educated without it. And education is important. So fine, if you use this dispensation, call it interest. I'm living in interest. That's what I mean by calling it what it is. When you call it backbiting, you will be very careful how you speak. Oppression. Number 2, stopping something bad by seeking assistance, once again, from someone who can help. At Masjid al-Wali, we saw online, I'm giving a real example. I don't know who this was, by the way, but this is what we saw online. There was a janazah prayer. And apparently, I wasn't there, so I don't know. I'm just telling you what I saw online. Apparently, someone felt that the janazah prayer was not conducted. Some pieces of the sunnah were not done correctly. Okay, fair. Someone can say, I believe that you should do that. Fine. Instead of going to tell the people responsible, you should do this and this and this and this next time, they went online and said they don't follow the sunnah, with no advice to anyone, just telling the whole world. So, and the person who did this, subhanallah, is one of the people who are like teaching others. So this is not the correct way. The correct way is to go to those people. You see something wrong, you advise them. What if you do not have the power to advise that person for whatever reason? You may backbite to seek assistance from someone who may help you correct something that is wrong. And you may use names, it is backbiting. But you must seek it from the person who can help you, only. not from other people. You believe it? I went to this masjid and I saw this and that, and I can't believe it. Oh my God. And so what is this person going to do that you told them? He's going to go and continue to spread, and then division happens and hatred in the ummah of Muhammad. We don't want that. By the way, if you really had good intentions, you would go and fix that problem instead of telling people about it. Number 3, requesting a legal ruling. Only if the name mentioned is necessary. So let's say you're requesting a fatwa. Try to keep the name out of it. So-and-so did so-and-so to so-and-so. What should I do, Sheikh? Fine. You don't need to mention the name. If mentioning the name is important, then you may. But only from the person you are seeking the legal ruling from. Only if it's important. Warning others of a hidden danger. For example, your neighbor's child is reckless. Your neighbor's child, Muslim or non-Muslim, we said last time, backbiting is not allowed against Muslims or non-Muslims. However, you will find that most of the non-Muslims fall into one of these 6 exceptions. Because you may sometimes need to warn others about them. Let's say your neighbor's child is reckless, dangerous, does drugs, whatever. Okay? Now you want to warn others to avoid that child or to avoid that family. But you have to use the name. You have to say, that child, right? That mother, that father, that home, that family. So you may say that. You may say, be careful, that home has trouble. Do not let your child go over there. Do not let your child be friends with this child. And I'm just telling you, this is backbiting, but I am using the dispensation. Only tell those who need to know. Number 5, public sinner. This is why I said non-Muslims will enter this category. If someone is sinning in public and does not care that others are seeing his sin, then you may be allowed to mention this action that they are going public with. I will repeat this because this is very dangerous. If you see your Muslim brother walking in the mall 3 towns away with a woman that you don't recognize, who's not his wife and not his sister, as far as you know, you don't know. Okay? This is not an example of public sin. He is clearly not trying to show anyone. Plus, you have to give him 70 excuses and say, oh no, maybe it's his aunt. Maybe she just looks young. Okay? Maybe it's his, it's possible, by the way. You can have a young looking aunt. Maybe it's his cousin, but she was breastfed from the same mother. Could be.
Could be his second
Yeah.
wife.
Could be his second wife. You have to give 70 excuses. Okay? And do not reveal anything about this person. Meaning, you do not talk about him. You do not say this bad thing about that person. You're not allowed. You have to hold your tongue. It's juicy gossip. Not allowed. Okay? Now, what if you see your brother doing something repetitively in secret, not wanting anyone to know? Can you tell others about it? No. You have to go to him. This is your duty. Amr al-Ma'ruf. And say to him, I saw this and this. Please, don't do that. I will not tell anyone. And I'm not thinking I'm better than you. But please, do not do this. This is not allowed. What if he keeps doing it? What should you do? Disown him? What should you do? Keep praying for him and keep
Trying.
advising him. What if you advise him for 40 years? He's still doing it. What should you do? Give up on him or advise him? What if you give up on him and say, forget about you? That's from shaitan, because you think you are better than him. Just by saying, forget you, you are automatically saying, I'm better than you, and you are a lost cause.
In that case,
Yeah.
can we seek somebody's help? That would
Yes.
happen?
So if you seek someone's help, that may have better impact on him. His father, his brother, someone that can keep it close. Do not spread the rumors. Do not say anything about him to anyone who will not help. Let alone someone who may propagate the information in a bad way. And so public sinner. So someone asked, and I'm not going to mention names in the political environment that we're in. If there's someone running for office and you want to make fun of him, say bad things about him or her, right? Are you allowed? The answer is yes, if they're, of course, appropriate. Muslim does not say bad things. But you may say, this person is a clown. This person is a joke. This is backbiting. Is it backbiting or not? It is backbiting. Is it allowed? Yeah, because he is being a clown, right? He is purposely doing that, and he is showing everyone what he is doing. And he is saying bad things publicly, and he does not care. And he has been advised, do not say these things. This is not good, and he does not care. Therefore, you can say, so and so is saying this, and he is not a good president. He would not be a good vice president, whatever, without mentioning any names. The point is, you can talk about public figures if they are publicly sinning. Okay? And the final one is identification of a person. Just to show you how beautiful our religion is and how much backbiting is not allowed, you must try every effort to identify a person with something that they would not dislike. Meaning, if someone has a limp, you cannot, and you say to him, and everyone named Muhammad, alhamdulillah, right? Everyone named Muhammad and Ahmed. So someone tells you, oh, you know Muhammad from the masjid? He says, yes. Everybody is named Muhammad in the masjid. Okay, so I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, Muhammad Ahmed, right? I don't know, there's 5 Muhammad Ahmeds. Which one are you referring to? So you say, Muhammad Ahmed has the beard. Okay, well they all have the beard. Okay, or Muhammad Ahmed that he's his skin is not too dark, not too light. Right? They don't know. Right? So you say, fine. The one that limps. You know the one that limps? You say, oh, I know the one. Okay. Now, does he like that you mention his limp? No. But is it backbiting? Yes. But is it allowed? Only if you need to identify someone. So if someone has a tumor on their head or a big wart on their nose, you cannot mention those things. Or a very large nose or missing one finger. You cannot mention that. But if you must mention it for identification, then you may. That's it. So those are the 6 exceptions for backbiting. And anyone who has backbit people in the past, and I'm 100% sure all of us have done that, right? You must go and tell the person that you backbit against, that I did this, forgive me. If you find that you are unable to do that, then you must make dua for that person and speak well of him in public, just like you spoke bad of him in public. This is called tahallal. Remove the meat of the flesh that you ate from your teeth. Okay? So, the safer thing is to go and tell them, I said this about you, please forgive me. If you feel this will destroy your brotherhood, then don't do that, and just make dua for them, and speak well of them in public like you defame them in public. Okay? What if someone makes ghiba about you? You ask them to stop. You say, please do not talk about me behind my back. I do not approve. That's advice. You have to give this advice. Do not be shy. You have to protect your brother from Jahannam and from losing all of his good deeds. If they continue to do so, then you amrak lillah, which means you say hasbi Allah. Okay? So that's Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the symptoms of diseased heart. And next week we will talk about, inshallah, additional symptoms of diseased hearts and purifying ourselves and elevating our status. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum. If anyone has any questions, you can ask me afterwards.
Brahma, what's the paper name?